1982, the year an architect brought his dream of color to life. The result? Disaster. This house is still standing, but nobody understands how. The color combination is unbearable. The colors on the walls are at war with each other. Let me show you. This is the Lindstrom residence, built in 1982 in suburban Minneapolis by a guy named Derek Lindstrom. And Derek wasn't just any builder. He was the kind of guy who believed that more was better. More colors, more patterns, more everything. The house itself sits on a pretty standard lot. Nothing crazy about the location. It's your typical 1980s suburban home. 2-story, moderate size. 3,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms. Nothing special on paper. But the moment you see it, something feels off. Like you can sense that this isn't going to be a normal house tour. Here's the thing about 1982. It was the peak of a certain kind of design confidence. And by confidence, I mean delusion. This was the era where designers genuinely believed that restraint was the enemy. That color was freedom. That if something looked wild, it automatically looked good. Derek Lindstrom took that philosophy and ran with it. In fact, his wife was an interior designer, so he had professional encouragement to turn this place into what is essentially a design experiment gone wrong. The neighborhood itself is pretty tame. Nice suburban houses, normal colors, whites, beiges, maybe a brown or two. And then there's the Lindstrom house, sitting there like it came from an alternate dimension. So when the real estate agent showed this place in recent years, people didn't know what to do with it. Like, how do you market a house whose biggest feature is that you'll need sunglasses to look at it indoors? This is where our story starts. Let's talk about what you see when you pull up to this house. The exterior is two-tone, and I don't mean like a light color on bottom and a darker color on top. I mean aggressively two-tone. We're talking a burnt orange brick on one side and then this brown stucco-like finish on the other. Now, at first glance, you might think, okay, that's different, but maybe it works. And I get where you're coming from. Contrast can be good. It can add visual interest. It can be intentional. But here's the problem. It's not proportional. The orange takes up way more wall space than the brown. It's like they got halfway through painting and went, you know what? Let's just make most of it orange. The brown section is awkward and cramped like an afterthought. The garage door is this metallic gold color, straight up gold, and it's so shiny that on certain days you probably can't even see if the garage is open or closed because the reflection would blind you. Then there's the roof line. It's not a standard pitched roof. It's got angles, weird angles, like someone took a normal roof and twisted it just slightly off. It's not quite geometric enough to be intentional, but it's wrong enough that your eye catches it immediately. The front door is wooden, deep burgundy wood, which would be fine except that the burgundy doesn't match anything else. It's like they picked a door color from a completely different house. The windows are small. Too small for a house this size, and they're these dark tinted things that make the exterior look hostile, like the house is glaring at you. Here's what gets me. You can tell they were trying. This wasn't lazy design. This wasn't just slapping paint on a house. Derek and his wife were actively making choices here. Deliberate choices that all somehow ended up pointing in different directions. If you compare it to the houses around it, it doesn't just look different. It looks like it's from a different era entirely, except it's not from some future era where this would make sense. It's just confused. The landscaping tries to help. There are bushes and plants, normal suburban greenery, but even they look uncomfortable living here, like they're doing their best to normalize this chaos. Okay, so you step inside and immediately your brain breaks. The living room hits you first. The walls are this dusty mauve color. Like imagine if someone took purple and then drained all the life out of it. That's the living room. Every wall, just mauve. But here's the thing. The trim is not white. It's not cream. It's orange, burnt orange. The same orange from the exterior is inside, on the trim, on the baseboards, everywhere. So you've got mauve walls with orange trim, and your first instinct is to think maybe this is vintage chic or something. Maybe this is actually cool and I'm just too modern to get it. No, it's not cool. It's actively fighting itself. The carpet is this weird beige color, but with patterns. Geometric patterns from the 70s that somehow survived into the 80s. The pattern clashes with literally everything. It's not complimentary, it's competitive. Every surface is trying to be the main character. Move into the kitchen. The cabinets are this dark wood, almost black. The countertops are a speckled pattern that was probably state-of-the-art in 1982. Now it just looks busy, like your eyes don't know where to focus. The walls in the kitchen are yellow, bright yellow. And it's not a nice butter yellow, it's the yellow of old tennis balls. And it's clashing with the dark cabinets so hard that being in this room feels stressful. The appliances are avocado green, which is classic 70s to 80s, sure. But the avocado is fighting with the yellow walls, and the yellow is fighting with the dark cabinets, and the countertop is just sitting there adding chaos to an already confused situation. You can't relax in this kitchen. Your eyes have nowhere to rest. Every color is demanding attention. It's like standing in a room where everyone is yelling at the same time. Moving upstairs, the hallway is this dark mauve color. It's cave-like. You're basically walking through a tunnel of purple. The trim is orange. And at the end of the hallway, you see the bedroom doors. The master bedroom door is hot pink. The second bedroom door is turquoise blue. The third bedroom door is purple. Each door opens into a room painted the same color as the door. Hot pink walls, turquoise walls, purple walls, and the hallway is still that dark mauve, still that dark orange trim, making the whole upstairs feel like a carnival of chaos. Here's what's wild. The furniture is probably tasteful by itself. The layout is functional. The bones of the house are fine, but the colors are so aggressively bad that everything else becomes invisible. You can't focus on anything except the fact that this house is having a color identity crisis. Okay? So before you judge Derek and his wife too harshly, let's understand what was happening in 1982. The 1980s were weird. Culturally, economically, aesthetically, everything was extreme. It was the era of more. Bigger shoulders, bigger hair, louder music, and design reflected that. Restraint was boring. Subtlety was for people without vision. In interior design specifically, there was this philosophy that color was a tool for self-expression. Bold colors meant bold personality. And if one bold color was good, then 3 or 4 bold colors was better. It was maximalism before anyone called it that. Color wheel theory existed, sure, but a lot of designers in the 80s basically ignored it and said, what if we just used colors we like regardless of whether they work together? Derek's wife was probably reading design magazines that were showcasing exactly this kind of thing. Not all of it, obviously, but enough that she could justify in her own mind that this approach was progressive, that it was modern, that it represented a departure from the boring 70s beige aesthetic, which, to be fair, there was a legitimate reaction against 70s design. The 70s had its own problems, lots of browns, lots of harvest golds, a general dullness that people were genuinely tired of. So in the 80s, designers swung hard in the opposite direction. And the Lindstrom house is basically what happens when you swing too hard and lose your balance completely. The thing is, there were actually some good 80s design moments. Memphis design was happening. Bold, colorful, playful. But Memphis design was self-aware. It knew it was weird. It was intentional weirdness. The Lindstrom house is just lost. It's trying to do what the magazines were suggesting, but without the intentionality or the context. It's like they took the worst instincts of 80s design and applied them indiscriminately. In 1982, when this house was completed, people probably thought it was pretty cool, cutting edge even, different from everything else on the block, which it was. It absolutely was. But that difference wasn't a feature, it was a bug. And that's what's interesting about this house. It's not just ugly by today's standards. It's ugly because the design philosophy itself was flawed. You can't mix that many clashing colors without creating chaos, and chaos isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it's just chaotic. So here's the thing about the Lindstrom house. You can't help but respect the confidence. Derek and his wife looked at this blank slate in 1982 and said, "We're going to do something nobody else is doing." And they did. They absolutely did. The problem is that sometimes the reason nobody else is doing something is because it doesn't work. This house is livable, technically. The structure is fine. The plumbing works. The electricity works. You could move in here right now and sleep in any of the bedrooms. You just wouldn't enjoy it. Your eyes would hurt. Your brain would be confused. But you could do it. Would it work today? Absolutely not. Even if you tried to lean into the retro 80s aesthetic, this house is too chaotic, too many colors, too little cohesion. But here's my real take. This house is sad. Not in a creepy way, just in a disappointed way. You can feel the effort, you can feel the intention, and you can feel the moment where good intentions crashed into bad execution. Ugliness rating 7 out of 10. It's not quite a 9 because the structure itself is sound. It's not quite an 8 because the interior color choices are genuinely indefensible. A 7 feels right for a house that was trying so hard but ended up creating something genuinely difficult to look at. The Lindstrom house is a time capsule of a specific design failure. Not a failure of effort, but a failure of restraint. And sometimes that's the worst kind of failure. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And seriously, if you live in a house with colors this bold, don't take it personally. You're just living in a different era's idea of beautiful.